I wanted to talk about the fucking the UFOs, the balloons that we've been shooting down, because it's super embarrassing. And they even asked at the press conference. I love that someone asked the question. And this is like 3 days ago. They asked that black lady who does the press conferences now. We're going to be embarrassed if it turns out that. Yeah. We're going to be embarrassed if it turns out that we've been shooting Sidewinder missiles and chasing with F-22s with tankers in the air for dozens of hours, and what we were shooting down was civilian weather balloons and maybe even decorations. I say we're all proud of the military and everything they do. And he's just like pivoting and like won't even like deal with the question. And then it turns out, yeah, that's what we've been doing. Like what happened was, in case you weren't following along, is like we had that one Chinese balloon that flew over and it was scary. So they were like, how did we not see it sooner? And so they changed the radar to pick up objects moving slower than 80 knots or whatever. They turned that down, the speed detection part. And suddenly the radar grid lights up and they're like, send the jets, send the F-22s, send the F-16s. We've got to shoot Sidewinder missiles at all of these. And every time
have we really been doing that?
Yeah.
That's really embarrassing.
That's what the last week's been. And the fun part was when they shot at the one over maybe the Great Lakes or Alaska. I don't remember which, but they missed with the first Sidewinder missile. Those are
it's at a balloon.
Those are to be fair, they're not meant to hit balloons, but you know,
it better be able to hit a balloon, man. Like,
it's like they're $400,000 a piece or something like that, and everybody gets stuck on that number. They're like, we wasted a $400,000 missile. Do you know what it costs to fly an F-22 per hour? I think it's like $80,000 an hour if it's flying. Like
I do think that argument. I like that point. It's like, yeah, so they wasted $400K. Do you have any idea the countless tens of billions they waste every few months? And it's like, yeah, because of, you know, things like this contribute to that. Like just doing whatever you want all the time because there's infinite money for it. Like
super embarrassing.
Something I don't understand is like China has, maybe you guys can tell me, like China has satellites which are better than balloons at seeing things on the ground.
So they weren't trying to see on the ground.
Yeah, you can zoom in with satellite. Like they have satellites. Like
yeah,
we do.
True.
Like you can zoom in. You can see stuff way better than like a fucking balloon up there. Like it's just, why would they do a balloon?
So they're not trying to see things. The satellites are plenty good at seeing everything. They're trying to pick up communications. They're trying to pick up communications as they fly over all of North America. And we're not talking about your TV or your like short band radio. They're trying to pick up military communications. They flew right across where the ICBMs are. They flew across the Missouri base where the B-2s are at. They were scanning and picking up military signals, and also obviously getting
aren't those satellite done? Like our military communicates with satellites, right?
No. Well, there's radio signaling on the ground going back and forth. That's how we like do all of that's how we communicate.
It's just such a weird situation because it's like they were trying to get this information, and it was so important that we allowed them to go across the entire continent long ways, unimpeded.
The fun part was like, all right, so there's an island where they launched these. There's an island where they launched these balloons from, and so we watched them launch the balloon. We were aware of its launch as soon as it. Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. It's Xinjiang Island.
You call Barun Island.
but they watched them. I watched the CNN reporting on this. That dolt of a woman they've got on there. She was like, so well, yeah, you know, we watched them launch the balloon. We understand, but like, what's the worst that could happen? He's like, well, could we guarantee? Can Congress guarantee, can the Joint Staffs agree that we knew for sure there wasn't a nuclear weapon on that balloon? And she's like, well, that would be quite a feat, launching a nuclear weapon from a balloon. And it's like, you dumb bitch. He goes, well, you just drop it. And I'm glad he said that, but I wish he'd expounded upon that and said, like, actually, that's the easiest way to deliver a nuclear weapon. They just proved that they can deliver a nuclear weapon to the entire continental United States and detonate it above our cities. They just did it. All they have to do is strap one in there. There's no way.
They proved they can go 4 miles an hour across all of Canada and the U.S. And we apparently miss missiles, or we go, this is a threat. We're going to talk about it for 6 days and do nothing.
Well, then the other thing is, like, as China's sitting there, like, oh, they shot our one balloon. Then they watch us freak out as we like shoot ghosts in the dark and start adding up a body count of Chinese balloons. And they're over there like, General, Was it just one balloon or 4 balloons? And he's like, only one balloon, generator. And he's like, oh, and they laugh in Chinese at us because we're
Chinese at us.
We're shooting in the dark at we're painting the sides of F-22s with balloons and UFOs over here. And in reality, what we actually have done is shot down like News Channel 7 with Rick the Weatherman Stevens' balloon, or we shot down 7th grade science project's balloon.
Some poor hobbyist just trying to
They're
learn.
helium balloons. You can just order them. Like you can go right now and buy the balloon they shot down. They said it was they said it was the size of a car. Those are $65 balloons, and the helium's expensive, but you get where I'm coming from. Like we throw together a whole swarm of these.
Well, that's ridiculous. That's
then
fucking
paint
insane.
Advertising on the side of them.
I didn't know we were shooting down random fucking hobbyists' balloons.
That's exactly what we were doing. We were chasing them around across the entire fucking North America, the Arctic. They're up near the North Pole with stealth fighters fighting weather balloons, and then they're like, oh, there's one over the Great Lakes too. All right, well, we're so good at doing this stuff. To be fair, like it's kind of cool that like a weather balloon flew over, and they send a tanker plane, Taylor, and then they send a radar jamming plane above that one. And then they have a whole swarm of like support planes and stealth fighters that are all there to kill whatever somebody saw on a radar. It's pretty cool.
I mean, but you also said we're missing with Sidewinder missiles.
See, I don't think that's a big deal though. Like those are meant to hit like planes, that are hot, probably.
Yeah. Planes notoriously more static than balloons.
Planes notoriously faster than balloons. That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to hit something that's sitting there not moving than it is. It would normally be able to track the thing over time, right? And then the way it works is it explodes. It doesn't like fly through, the targets. It explodes.
I thought it did.
No,
it doesn't move.
That makes sense.
I think you're wrong.
Yeah, because you know what the most guarded technology of World War II was, as far as the United States was concerned.
Wait,
you might think the Manhattan
nuclear
Project.
Submarines.
You'd be close. Well, the World War II. Taylor, you got it.
The spaceship.
We're gonna watch the History
it
Channel
was truly closely guarded. If you didn't even,
you had no idea. It was the space shuttle that was the most closely guarded. To this day, Kyle doesn't know about the space shuttle program of 1937.
Proximity fuse. The proximity fuse, which allows anti-aircraft rounds to burst in the air when they get near enough to the plane. That way, you don't have to actually hit a plane in the air with a bullet that's flying real fast. Because that's like impossible almost. But if you can shoot a bullet up there that pings with a little bit of radar, and when it gets a ping back, it explodes in the air and bursts that, millimeters thin aircraft fuselage. And, there's a guy in there. Doesn't want to get hit with shit either. But we would only use that technology over water for the entire war. So the enemy couldn't acquire our proximity fuse technology.
They did find it, though, because the device floats. They didn't realize.
It's not true.
It is.
No, it's not. No, he didn't.
Doesn't sound true at all.
Misinformation is a powerful thing.
Not today.
And I'm trying to spread some.
I won't have it.
Sometimes you just want to go online and spread misinformation.
I mean, every week around
this time is when I think we all excel at that.
Around 8 p.m. I'd like to get on in here and get started on it.
Yeah. That's such a funny thing with like doing a show like this is just like something will come up and it's like, all right, I need to have some kind of fucking take on this, like other than like, yeah, that's fine, like right or whatever.
No, I have strong opinions about all these things. I usually like some. I won't always give my real opinion. I'll usually go to the opposite. But like I watch enough news throughout the day that I just actually get upset by it. I didn't used to. I got to stop doing it. I got to
you gotta quit. You can't let that negativity run riot in you, man. You gotta just focus on positive things. The NHL, build orders for